I'm not a tidy person. My house always felt like there was something that hadn't been cleaned up yet. But over time, I realized I don't need to flip the whole house upside down to clean it. I don't need a rigid schedule where I scrub windows on Tuesdays and deep clean the fridge on Thursdays. I just needed to change a few small habits in my day. So instead of saving everything for the weekend, I started paying attention to small stuff. Putting away the clothes I wore yesterday, quickly wiping the kitchen counter after dinner, tossing junk mail right when I walk in the door. These little habits might seem unimportant, but doing them every day for a few months really helped. My house looks tidier, my head feels lighter, and I don't have that feeling of always cleaning but never catching up. If you've ever felt tired of constantly picking up but still living in a mess, these 12 small habits might help, and you can start using them today. Let's go through them one by one. The first habit I want to share today is simple, but it made a big difference for me. Put away the day's clothes. For years, I didn't really have a system for clothes I'd already worn but wasn't ready to wash. You know, the jeans you wore once, the cardigan you just had on for an hour, or that t-shirt you might wear again tomorrow. So I'd do what most of us probably do. Throw it over a chair, or the end of the bed, or just leave it somewhere random thinking I'd deal with it later. But later never really came. And by the end of the week, that one chair, it was a full-blown clothes mountain. I'd feel annoyed every time I walked past it, but too tired to sort it out. And honestly, it made my bedroom feel heavier, like it was just another place that needed my attention. So I changed one tiny thing at the end of the day. I take 1 minute to decide, is this going in the laundry or back in the closet? And I follow through right then. No more clothes limbo, no more random piles, no more low-grade guilt every time I see the same shirt sitting out for 3 days. It's a small thing, but it makes a real difference. When I walk into my room in the morning, it feels tidy and clear. There's nothing on the floor, nothing on the chair, and I don't feel like I need to clean something before I can start my day. So if there's a chair in your room that's become a second closet, this might be the habit to try first. Just 1 minute, just one change, and it sets the tone for everything else. And if you're looking for more simple, low-effort ways to keep clutter from creeping back in the next video, I'll walk through some of the easiest ones, the kind you can start doing without any big clean-out or complicated system. Just little shifts that fit into real life and actually make your home feel lighter. I hope you'll join me for that. But for now, let's come back to today's video, because we still have more habits to go through, and each one builds on the next. Let's keep going. The second habit is keeping laundry moving a little every day. There was a time when I would ignore the laundry basket until it started overflowing. I'd tell myself I'd deal with it on Saturday, a full laundry day. But of course, when Saturday came, I didn't want to spend hours washing, drying, folding, and putting everything away. So I'd push it off again. By the time I finally did it, I felt like I was already behind, and laundry became something I dreaded. What helped was not waiting for the right time. I stopped thinking of laundry as one big job and started treating it like a small part of my day, like brushing my teeth or loading the dishwasher. Something quick, routine, and not that dramatic. Now, I try to keep it moving one step at a time. I don't always wash dry and fold everything in a single day, but I do try to do something. If I notice a load is ready, I'll toss it in while making lunch. If clean clothes are sitting in a basket, I'll fold a few pieces in the evening. Sometimes I just move things from the washer to the dryer and leave the rest for later. That's okay. Since doing this, I haven't had to deal with mountains of laundry or dig through piles to find clean socks. The house feels less chaotic, and laundry doesn't sit in the back of my mind all week. You don't need a strict routine to make this work. Just a simple habit of not letting it pile up. If laundry often feels overwhelming in your home too, this might be a small shift that makes it a little easier. The third habit is tidying as I go, just picking things up while I'm already moving through the house. Before, I used to leave things lying around: shoes near the couch, mugs on the table, jackets over chairs. It didn't look terrible, but over time the mess added up and made the whole house feel messy. I'd walk around and feel like there was always something that needed to be done. I didn't plan to fix it. One day, I picked up a few things while walking to the kitchen, a cup of toy on the floor. It took less than a minute. Later that evening, I realized the house felt less cluttered even though I hadn't cleaned anything. So I started doing that more. If I'm heading to another room and something belongs there, I take it with me. If I just used a blanket, I fold it before I walk away. If I finish the mail, I throw away the junk right then. I'm not cleaning all day. I'm just not letting things pile up like they used to. The mess doesn't get out of hand because I'm already doing little bits here and there. It's not perfect. Some days I still leave things out. But overall, my house stays easier to manage. I don't feel behind all the time, and I don't need to spend a whole afternoon catching up. This habit might seem too small to matter, but it really adds up. If your home often feels like it gets messier faster than you can handle it, this could be something to try, just picking things up when you see them instead of saving it all for later. The fourth habit is dealing with paper as soon as it comes in. For a long time, paper clutter was my biggest headache. Mail, school notes, coupons, receipts, it never ended. I'd put them in a pile to look through later, but later didn't come. The pile just grew and I had no idea what was important and what wasn't. It felt like the mess was multiplying without me doing anything. The worst part was when I actually did need something, a form, a bill, a reminder, and had to dig through 10 random stacks of paper to find it. Sometimes I gave up and printed it again. It was frustrating and honestly made me feel like I was failing at something that should be simple. What helped was making a habit of handling paper right away, like within minutes of it coming into the house. I don't let it land on the dining table or sit on the kitchen counter. If it's junk, it goes straight into the recycling. If it's something we need to keep, I put it in a tray or folder. If it needs action like a form to sign or a bill to pay, I either do it right then or set it somewhere I'll actually see it. It takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes a day. But now, there are no more mystery piles, and I don't lose important things under old flyers or grocery lists. I don't waste energy looking for things I already have. This habit might feel small, but it can take a huge mental weight off. If paper tends to build up in your home, this is a good one to start with. One piece at a time right when it arrives, and suddenly it's not a mess anymore. The fifth habit is keeping shoes at the door. This one seems obvious, but I didn't always do it. We used to walk through the house with our shoes on, especially when we were in a rush or just forgot. It didn't seem like a big deal until I realized how much extra cleaning it was causing. There would be little bits of dirt on the floors, crumbs we didn't know we'd tracked, and even wet footprints when it rained. I'd sweep or mop, but the mess would come back almost right away. It started to feel like no matter how often I cleaned the floor, never stayed clean for long. One day, I just got tired of it. I put a small mat by the front door and added a basket for shoes. I didn't make a big rule about it, but I started taking my shoes off there. Then I asked my family to do the same. It took a bit of time to get used to, but after a few weeks it became normal. Now our floors stay cleaner without much effort. I don't have to mop as often. I'm not annoyed by random leaves or pebbles showing up in the hallway. And honestly, it feels calmer. There's something about walking barefoot on a clean floor that makes home feel more like a break from the outside. This isn't about being strict or perfect. We still forget sometimes. But keeping shoes by the door has made a noticeable difference not just in how the house looks, but in how it feels. If your floors always seem dirty no matter how much you clean, this could be a simple place to start. Just creating a small space for shoes near the door might make a bigger difference than you expect. The sixth habit is wiping down countertops after using them. I used to leave the kitchen counter as is after cooking. I'd finish making lunch or dinner, and I'd be too focused on serving food or moving on to the next thing. A few crumbs here, a splash of sauce there, I'd tell myself I'd clean it later. Sometimes I did, but a lot of times I didn't. By the end of the day, the counter looked like a whole day's worth of cooking happened, which it had. It wasn't just messy, it made the next meal harder. I'd want to make something simple, but first, I'd have to clear off space, wipe it down, and then finally start cooking. That little barrier was enough to make me feel tired before I even began. Now I've gotten into the habit of wiping things down right after I use the space. Nothing fancy, just a cloth and a quick swipe after chopping veggies or making coffee. It takes under a minute, but it makes the kitchen feel instantly better. And when it's time to cook again, I don't feel like I'm starting behind. It also helps with those random sticky spots that seem to appear out of nowhere. When I'm already wiping regularly, they don't have a chance to build up or harden. I don't have to deep scrub later because I've already handled it in little bits throughout the day. I still miss spots sometimes, especially on busy days. But overall, this small habit saves me time and effort. It's easier to clean when it's fresh, and the kitchen just feels calmer when the surfaces are clear. If your counters tend to collect clutter or crumbs during the day, this might be one habit that brings instant relief. A quick wipe now means less work and less stress later. Let's move on to habit number 7, doing the dishes before resting. I used to leave the dishes for later. After dinner, everyone would be full tired and ready to relax, and honestly, so was I. So the dishes would sit in the sink overnight. Sometimes I'd tell myself I'd do them first thing in the morning, but then morning would come and there'd already be a mess waiting. Starting the day with a sink full of dirty dishes is not fun. I'd go to make coffee and feel annoyed. I'd want to make breakfast but have no space. It was a small thing, but it set a heavy tone for the day. So I started trying something different. I told myself just clear the sink before sitting down for the night. It didn't have to be spotless, but I wanted to wake up and see an empty counter or at least a clean space to start fresh. At first, it felt like a chore. But after a few nights, I realized it didn't take that long. Maybe 10 minutes, sometimes less. And the feeling in the morning, worth it. No more avoiding the kitchen. No more groaning before my day even began. Now it's part of the evening flow. While the kids are winding down or I'm finishing up in the kitchen, I take a few minutes to rinse dishes, load the dishwasher, or just wash what's there. Even if the rest of the house is a bit messy, having the kitchen reset makes the whole place feel more calm. If you usually save the dishes for later but end up dreading them the next day, this might be a habit worth trying. A few minutes at night can make mornings feel a lot lighter. Next up is habit number 8, cleaning the shower after every use. This is something I never used to do. After showering, I'd just turn off the water dry off and leave. I didn't think much about the water or soap left behind. It was just part of showering, right? But then I started noticing spots on the glass and grime in the corners. Even if the rest of the bathroom looked fine, the shower always felt a little dirty. I'd think I should clean that this weekend, but I rarely did. So it got worse and I ended up dreading the deep clean even more. One day I tried something small. Before stepping out, I took a few seconds to rinse off the walls with the shower head. The next day I used a cloth to wipe the glass. Nothing fancy, no sprays, no scrubbing, just a quick reset while everything was still wet and easy to clean. That was it. The difference was immediate. No more hard water spots or weird film building up. I didn't have to use strong cleaners or spend forever scrubbing later. The shower just stayed decent. Not spotless, but good enough that I didn't feel embarrassed when someone else used the bathroom. Now I try to do a quick wipe down most days. I still miss it sometimes, especially when I'm rushing, but overall it's become a small, easy habit that saves me work later. If you often find your shower gets grimy fast, this could be something to try. A quick rinse or wipe when you're already in there takes almost no effort, and it might keep that I need to clean this feeling from showing up in the first place. Habit number 9 is cleaning the toilet in 2 seconds. That might sound like an exaggeration, but it really is just a couple of seconds. I used to wait until bathroom cleaning day to deal with the toilet. By then, it needed scrubbing, and I had to set aside time and energy to really clean it. But one day, I tried wiping it down quickly after I washed my hands, just the seat and the handle. I used a bit of toilet paper or a wipe, nothing fancy. And honestly, it made a difference. It didn't get gross between cleanings, and I didn't feel like I had to avoid looking at it by the end of the week. Now I try to give the toilet a quick once-over once a day, not a deep clean, just a light wipe to keep things under control. Sometimes I do it in the morning when I'm already in there. Other times I do it at night before bed. I don't overthink it. Just wipe and move on. It's such a small habit that I barely notice it anymore, but it keeps the bathroom feeling fresh. Guests don't walk into a bathroom with surprises, and I don't get that sinking feeling when I realize I forgot to clean before someone comes over. I still do a full clean every so often, of course. But this little habit stretches out the time between deep cleans and makes that job easier when it comes around. If cleaning the toilet is one of those tasks you keep putting off, this might be a way to make it less of a big deal. A few seconds each day can go a long way, and you won't dread the whole thing so much. Habit number 10 is keeping the counters clear. I used to keep way too much stuff on the counters, especially in the bathroom. Lotions, makeup, hair ties, toothbrushes, random receipts, even earrings I forgot to put away. The counter was never dirty, but it always looked busy. And somehow it made the whole space feel messier than it really was. What I noticed over time is this: when the counter is cluttered, I'm less likely to clean it. I'll wipe around things, skip spots, or just walk away altogether. But when the surface is clear, it takes 10 seconds to spray and wipe. No obstacles, no decision fatigue. It just gets done. So I started keeping only the basics out, like soap and maybe one small item I use every day. Everything else goes in a drawer, a bin, or behind a cabinet door. It doesn't have to be perfectly organized. It just has to be off the surface. At first it felt a bit strange. I worried I'd forget where I put things or that it would slow me down. But it didn't. In fact, getting ready became easier because there was less visual noise. I wasn't constantly shifting things out of the way to make space. And wiping down the counter became a quick, almost automatic part of my routine. This habit has made one of the most noticeable changes, not just in how clean the bathroom stays, but in how calm it feels. Less clutter on the counter equals less clutter in my head. If your counters are always full and hard to keep clean, try putting just a few things away. You don't need a perfect system. Just clear a bit of space and see how much lighter the room feels. Habit number 11 is doing a nightly reset. This doesn't mean deep cleaning the house before bed, far from it. It's more like giving the house a quick breath before the day ends. I used to go to sleep with dishes in the sink, laundry on the couch, random toys underfoot. I was too tired to deal with it. But waking up to that mess the next morning, it just made me feel behind before the day even started. So I started setting a little routine at night, just 10 or 15 minutes to bring things back to neutral. I'm not scrubbing floors or wiping baseboards. It's more like clear the counters, load the dishwasher, maybe fold a few things. Put back what's obviously out of place. Sometimes I just walk through the house with a laundry basket, tossing in things that don't belong: a sock, a toy, a cup. That way I can sort it out later, but at least the surfaces are clear. And if I don't have energy to fold laundry, I don't. I just put the clean clothes in a basket and deal with it tomorrow. At least it's not on the floor anymore. The goal isn't perfection. It's simply to wake up to a space that doesn't feel chaotic. On the mornings after I reset, I move through the house more calmly. I can make coffee without pushing stuff aside. I don't feel like I'm starting the day already playing catch-up. If mornings feel overwhelming in your home, this habit might be worth trying. Nothing fancy, just a small reset before bed so you can start the next day with a little more breathing room. And finally, habit number 12, vacuuming a little more often. For a long time, I only vacuumed when the floor looked obviously messy, like when there were crumbs under the table or bits of dirt by the front door. But by then, it always felt like too much. I'd have to pull out the vacuum, move things around, and it turned into a whole job I didn't want to do. What helped was changing the way I thought about it. I stopped waiting for the mess to pile up. Now I just do a little when I notice something: a quick vacuum in the hallway, under the table after lunch, or in the entryway if we've tracked in dirt. It doesn't have to be the whole house. Just a few minutes when I can. Doing it this way keeps the floors from getting out of control. And weirdly, when the floors are clean, the rest of the house feels cleaner too, even if I haven't touched anything else. I don't vacuum every day. I don't even have a set schedule. But I do it more often than I used to, and that's been enough to make things feel more under control. If vacuuming feels like a big task, try making it a smaller one. Just one space when you have a moment. It adds up. That's the last habit on the list, and honestly, all of these work the same way. Nothing big, just small things done more often so your home doesn't feel like it's always waiting for a full clean. That's everything I wanted to share with you today. None of these habits are fancy or complicated. They're just small things I've worked into everyday life. A quick reset here, a little cleanup there. And over time, they've made my home feel calmer and easier to care for. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about finding a rhythm that feels manageable and building from there. In the next video, I'll walk through some simple, low-effort habits that help keep clutter from building up in the first place, the kind of things you can start doing without a big clean-out or system overhaul. If today's video gave you even one idea to try at home, feel free to share it with a friend or subscribe for more. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.